Hello everybody and welcome back to Middle-earth. This is Count MRVHS with another episode of our 4th Age Total War Dwarves campaign, and we are a few turns ahead from where we were the last time. There was an unfortunate hiccup with the recording, so I lost a bit of what occurred. You may notice from the map here, though, that we did, in the intervening turns between the last episode and this, we did succeed in taking Dunhold from the Dunlandings. Now, that was a pretty straightforward assault. You didn't miss a lot, honestly, in that battle anyway. It was a very small garrison and an extremely straightforward fight. We got our shield breakers up on the walls, chewed through the defenders there, and then just got them all cornered in the town plaza and managed to take the settlement. A pretty straightforward battle. The more interesting development, though, was when I decided it might be a good idea to take my army from Dunkreok into the west to keep up the pressure on the Dunlandings, who, as you can see, have these 3 settlements still, as well as the Misty Mountains Orc Hold just to the north. Well, the force here consisted of mostly hirelings. We had a couple units of hireling spears. I did have 4 units of dwarven blunderbusses, although now we've only got 1.5 left, or less than. And then I had a lot of these hireling Dunlandings, as well as a couple of units of the Dunlanding mercenaries. And those were not up to the task. I got attacked on Dunlanding territory by a decent-sized Dunlanding army, and although it was a long fight and we did technically win, it was literally down to the 2 family members and their bodyguard unit. Every other unit had been routed off the field, including my blunderbusses, including the hireling spears, and all my nice hireling Dunlandings had all been routed or killed. So we managed to crawl our way back to Dunkreok in shame, and we are trying to get our forces rebuilt here. Go ahead and recruit another Dunlanding unit. The lesson I learned there, though, was that when you're playing as the Dwarves, you do want to have a good mix of hireling units instead of just relying on the skirmisher types, which is what I was doing. I did have the bodyguards, but it was simply not enough. The Dunlandings had a ton of cavalry, a lot of throwing spears, as you know by now, so they were pretty easily able to tear us apart, and it's just that at the end of the battle, they refused to engage with my Durin's Guard, and so we managed to win it on a technicality with the time ran out. So we are basically hoping to slowly strangle them, but before we do that, I did want to give them a chance to for a peaceful resolution to this. I'm just going to offer all of my money. No, they're not going to take that. I didn't really expect that to work because they do have 3 settlements left that are completely unthreatened. They've got several armies out in the field, including one on my territory, and they've got another army. Well, just the ruler is holed up in the Misty Mountains Hold. So it may be some time before we get them to be a protectorate. That is my long-term goal, though, and so that's why I'm kind of holding on to all this cash. We did have another recent siege of Tham. A Rhun army came up from the south and besieged it, but this is, not a terribly threatening force when we compare it to what we have in the city. We've got several dwarven units that are at basically full strength. We've got some mercenary types providing ranged, a bit of melee as well, and then a decent amount of hireling spears. I think this should be sufficient to hold the city. But in case it doesn't, or in case it looks like they're going to just starve me out, I do have an army in the vicinity here, and the goal with this is possibly to take Raycoast and to turn it over to Dorwinian, and that way they can shield me both in the west and in the north, and I can concentrate expanding further south, which is what I'm more interested in. But let's end turn here. We've also been doing fairly well in the north, as you can see. We're expanding our hold up there, and so far not really meeting any significant resistance. Tharbad is still at peace with us, or actually allied with us, but I imagine that's not going to last forever. Oh, great. Great. Just where we needed him. Okay, let's go for some more spearmen. So I think the problem last time was that I didn't have enough enough units who could actually stand in melee, and so we were spread very thin with my bodyguard units. So I think a few more hireling spears might be good, just to just because they've got a better defense. Let's kind of compare these. So hireling Dunlandings, although they do have a really decent missile attack, and they're, you know, reasonable at melee as well, their defense is 18. But these hireling spears have a defense of 24. So even though their attack is lower, they're going to stand around more and fight longer. And they've also got 10 more men in the unit. So that's going to make them a bit more durable. So I think I want to go heavier on those guys in the area. Let's see, what else did we recruit? Okay, some stuff in Barra's Doom just got retrained. Alright, we finally got our weaponsmiths. That's what we're retraining here. So that should be an upgrade to weapons for those hireling units. And we could go for stone-paved roads here, but it might make more sense to go with the vault, because that'll allow us to get our last tier of the waypost buildings, which will get us the hireling guards. And we haven't really trained any of these guys. I don't know why this shows up sometimes. It really is. It's not always there. But in any case, hireling guards are the guys who have like a halberd. And we do have a unit over in Nareg Zagil. They are these guys right here. And so they are defensive 42. Very substantial. Now these guys have a bit more experience in upgraded armor, but that's still going to be an upgrade even without a shield over the hireling spears. Okay, so that actually drew away the force that was besieging Tham. So now we can retrain basically all of these guys. Let's just combine a few so we have some room to actually do some training as well. Oh, we can train slingers. I'm not going to bother, I think, to train slingers, because we've got them available as mercenaries. As long as we have a family member around, we can handle that. Okay. I don't think I want to join any of these guys with this force. I think we can handle it between these two. So we've got a force at Fennis Rim. Oh, interesting. Rovanian is attacking Dorwinian, which makes sense. They are at war. I don't know if I want to let that stand. But at the same time, I'd rather not fight Rovanian just yet. So I think I'll ignore it for now. That's going to fall to Rovanian. But I can give this to Dorwinian, and they might be able to hold that better. All right, so let's see what we can take out of Fennis Rim. This guy is not the leader of Fennis Rim anyway. So hopefully... Alright. That's right, we've got extremely tough public order to deal with. Oops. Even with all of those units back in there, we're just at 80%. So his governorship is actually giving a lot of bonuses to public order. Increased public order from being an inspired governor, from being generous, from being considerate. His authority is giving a little bit of a boost as well. So yeah, that's a shame. Well, when this gets finished, public order will be a bit easier to raise here, and we'll be able to train from it eventually also. Let's see if I can even just take these units out. That's 60. If I put one of them back, will we be at 70? Yes, we will, but I don't know if it's worth it. Okay, look, how about that? And then we can just send these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's 5 units. Let's throw in another. Alright. So these guys can't get here, but that's alright. I think what I'll do is I will use this army and this army to threaten Raycoast, and that may draw them to attack us. Let's see. Nothing I really want to build in Tham just yet. And we do have an army of Rhun approaching, but we did manage to get in a couple of units trained from Erebor. So we made the long trek and just made it in the nick of time. We can't train anything in Barez Doom for quite a while. We're going to need another, several turns before we can. But I'm sure that the long axes and axe throwers will be able to hold off this army. Well, actually, let's wait. We want to build up our funds even more. And I've been going a little light in the north because we haven't had a lot of trouble. Adunabar seems to have stalled, although they're training these Losoth warriors, which is very cool. They've got some trolls as well, and a decent-sized army, but I think they're just so hemmed in by the reunited kingdom that they don't dare to move in any direction. So that's fine. Okay, great. I can finally move this guy down. Let's see. Maybe I can get him over here, actually, and we can find some mercenaries in Ostinedel, or nearby, and then I'll swing him down. This army seems to be just staying put. More blunderbusses for training. I think I'll hold off on them. The blunderbusses were surprisingly easy to rout in the last field battle, and I don't know what the deal is there. Alright, so here's our attacking Rhun army. You can see it's basically what we've seen before. Spearmen of Rhun are probably the toughest units here, and then they've got one unit of cav, some ranged. That's all fine. And it'll be good to clear this out. Okay, got a very open battle map, which is good when you've got wains. Though these rocks are going to give us some trouble. Alright, so all these guys to fire at will. Bowman. We don't have any slingers, I guess, so that's fine. I think this is a decent battle structure. I do want to pull back just a little so that we're not downhill from them. I know this doesn't give us really any height advantage, but that's all right. And let's bring our family member down a bit. We've got axes. 2 units of Dwarves of the Iron Hills. Great. 3. Wow. I guess I forgot I trained all those guys. That's great, though. All right, now I want to keep the cav and the wains, like, really close together. Have the wains right here, and then the cavalry can be right next to them, and we'll just wait for them to get closer here. We'll turn a little bit. That'll cause them to... honestly, I should let them... Yeah, go ahead. Flank me to the downhill. I'll be happy for them to do that. Alright, so here they come. Starting to fire with the wains. Looks like they're hitting the ground a little bit. And they don't have any really worrisome cav. It's just their general. So if I can get all of my cav around, we can take them out hopefully pretty soon. Oh, I guess I forgot I had longbowmen too, so they're in the front. They should probably be further back so they don't get rushed. Wow, these guys are routing already. guys right out of the trees. So these guys are a bit downhill to flank, and let's forget about the cavalry. Oh, you wanna come and fight?
The enemy warlord flees from our warriors. Attack and drive them back in the same way.
May have lost a couple to the Wayne bows. All right, you've done your work. Okay, let's get the cav. See if we can hit that general unit. Everyone else is basically on the run. Might not be able to quite catch him. Looks like these guys are going to be just retreating off the field. I would say we are not going to catch up to that general. Nope, actually we might. Don't have a lot of ground left, but we might get him. There we go.
The warlord of the enemy army is running like a startled goat. Hunt him.
Yep. Alright, so let's stop that. Do want them to start shooting again here. Push these guys into a rout, that would be great. Then we can just chase him down with our cav and call it a pretty clean victory if we can get enough of them. Actually, no, we're gonna have to get a lot of these guys before we can call it a total win. Let's hit the warband. They're gone, and everyone's gone. Okay, good. We can stop shooting now. I think we can get this guy with our axes. Yeah, got pummeled by about 40 axes. That'll do it.
Flee from the field like frightened goats, hunt them down and slay them all.
Alright, so we just need to clean this up and we should be good. Actually, 94%. We're good. We can just Just quit at this point. Clear victory. Lost about 35 or 34 in total. Longbowmen mercenaries took a lot of casualties, probably to arrow fire. I'm guessing I wasn't paying too much attention to them.
We shall rule.
Alright, looks like a rogue trying to sabotage something there in Dunkreok. Or assassinate somebody. Alright. Lost an emissary up here. So the retraining is completed, and yes, they've got gold weapon upgrades. Great stuff. And pretty much everyone we train from this point on, every hireling unit, is going to have those weapon upgrades. 2 more turns. I just don't really want to siege, assault this settlement. I could definitely do it, but I just don't feel pressured to right now. Okay, that was kind of a useless run. They've got some cav. I probably should recruit it, actually, so we can have some way to run these guys down and meet their cav. Yeah, the population's still a bit too low for me to want to start recruiting out of there. We want it to get pretty high. Right, and in Ettendale, we have, I believe it's iron, the iron resource. So that's a pretty nice thing for us. I don't think it's built yet. Construction charter. So we could, I think we would need mines first. And so that's actually a good build option. That gets us 200 just in land tax and an extra 150 or so in trade for, about 100 in mismanagement. Once we do that, we'll be able to get some iron, which we already have, of course, in the Iron Hills and maybe 1 or 2 other places. But that'll just help make it even easier to build things. I think having more of the iron workshops helps increase the speed at which construction can be finished. So they're going to stand here and besiege Berez Doom. My only concern is that they don't build anything. If they stop and just wait to starve us out, then we were going to have to sally out, and that's going to be annoying and possibly dangerous because they're going to be able to just surround us and shoot us and things. Alright, so far Rovanian hasn't taken Erebos. But our victory over here means that we can now attack Raycoast and maybe get it. And honestly, this is a place that would be worth keeping. It would get us up to 25 settlements. I know this is a good place for income. It's got a port, so it might be worth it to take this settlement. So I think what we're going to do, let's see if they will stay and fight. They will not. So we'll just put them under siege for now. And either they're going to attack us next turn or we'll be assaulting it. And then we'll get Raycoast. And I want to check that I have emissaries in place. Yes, I do. That's a scout. Let's get another emissary just in the area so I can do any dealing that I need to. We'll go with yet another hireling spear unit over here, and that's just about it for our income. Now in Dunkreok, I'm again slowly building up. But I do want this guy to get down before we make our second push into Dunland's territory. If I can take out this army, which I certainly can, but I'll have this field commander come down. join in with some dwarves and other hirelings, take this army out, and then join them with other forces from Dunkirk and push west. And the goal will be to grind them down a couple more settlements or whatever it takes. Oh, interesting. Your forces attack a Bjorning host. So this is the host, and Dale is helping us. Wow. So this is very interesting. In this campaign, Dale is set to be a passive faction, essentially. They will only defend their own territory. However, I've seen this when I'm playing as Dale. The dwarves will sometimes do this. They will come onto your territory and attack an enemy that's threatening you. Even though the dwarves, when you are playing as Dale or any other faction, are also passive. So this is really heartwarming to see. Unfortunately, the unit that we are reinforcing with is a unit of woodmen, woodmen mercenaries. So this is going to be a kind of strange fight. Let's see what Dale has. Okay. So they've got a pretty basic army. Not enough archers for what I would like to see. Really one full unit and then, another one that's about a third strength. And they got a lot of low-level units like Barding Militia, but they do have some black spears. They do have some cavalry. But the Bjorning's army is more of a problem. They've got enough archers. They've got these Bjorning axemen. Oof. This is going to be kind of bad. I think what we'll do is we'll save this for the next episode. We've already had about enough of long enough of a turn for this one. So we will see how this fight goes. I'm very interested to see how the AI fares while we just watch. So please join for that, and I will check you out in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.